Okay, so GM, everyone, once again, welcome to another class. This is officially our third class for the 6 weeks that we are going on. And so far, so good. We've discussed several things. In the first class, we talked about Web3, and I don't think I need to recap on that. So by now, you should already understand what Web3 is all about. The last class we talked about, what did we talk about? Blockchain. Yes, we discussed blockchain. I explained blockchain, and then this class now we'll be talking about cryptocurrencies. So if you check the group, I already say I dropped it as module 3. We'll be talking about cryptocurrencies and tokens, and it's expected that at the end of this class, you should know what crypto is all about, how they work, then the difference between crypto and tokens, coins and tokens. I mean, coins are not tokens, tokens are not coin. Then you also know utility tokens, governance tokens, stable coins, NFTs, and then we'll talk about wallets and how to store digital assets. So we might be doing a little bit of practical, depending on how we understand what we discuss today. So we might be doing a little bit of practical, like checking of wallets and the likes. So I'm going to give a quick recap of what we discussed in the last class. In the last class, we talked about we talked about blockchain. And I explained that the whole essence of Web3 is all about the blockchain technology. Blockchain is older than Web3, although Web3 is the full idea, the next generation of the internet. Without blockchain, Web3 will not be possible. So this one will talk Web3 this, Web3 that. Without the blockchain technology, Web3 will not have been able to come about. So blockchain is the core of Web3. And we discussed that blockchain is just a digital ledger, something that keeps record. But this time around, it is keeping record on the internet. And this record that it keeps, it is immutable, meaning anything that is being recorded on the blockchain cannot be edited. Once a block is added, it cannot be edited. You only add on top blocks. We also discussed that it is transparency. Absolutely anybody can view whatever that is being put on the blockchain. Today I was on Vindicated GD space where we're talking about this Shalom token, Shalom meme coin that he is about to launch. So according to him, he's going to be holding 50% of the tokens, and this 50% will be locked. The reason for that is, to protect the coin because of people that are going to dump and the likes. So someone asked a very important question. How do we know that the token is actually locked? And then if you tell us, is it that we should just believe it because you say it is locked? So that tells me that the person doesn't really understand what blockchain is all about. When a dev tells you that he locks a coin on the blockchain, you can view it. All what you need is the contract address. So if I create a token today, a coin today, and I call it Tony Stack coin, and I tell you that I lock 50% of the supply, what you need is a contract address. You go to the blockchain explorer, that is the explorer of that blockchain. You view it, you are going to see the token. Everybody that is holding the coin, you see them, you see the amount they are holding, you see the ones that is locked. And again, if you are an auditor, if you're a blockchain auditor, you could even check the code because all codes on blockchain is open source. So you could check it to see if the developer give himself a backdoor, because some devs now the filter you say they lock token, but then they give themselves a backdoor whereby they could unlock it again. So you can check all of these things. So the blockchain is transparent, very, very transparent. So that is what it does, just a digital ledger. And then we'll go on to talk about the different types of blockchains, private, public blockchains, and the likes. So that is just a recap as to what it is. If you want to understand more, get the full details, the full knowledge. The class was already recorded. It is expected that before you join this class, you would have gone through that. There is something I even missed out. Before we started this class, I will have included that people have to attend at least maybe 70% of the class, because I like when I'm teaching something and people are following. If person no follow, I've even tell you say, your class has ended, because why will you miss 2 classes? How will you now understand what I'll be discussing in the third class? But then that is basically that about that. In this class, we'll be talking about cryptocurrencies. What exactly are cryptocurrencies? crypto was what I was introduced to first of all. I remember some years back when they introduced me to crypto. The way I even came to crypto, then I was looking for money. So they just told me you can buy this coin, and by December this coin is going to go up like this. So putting money is going to go up, then you cash out big and all of those stuff. So, and I'm sure that is even the way most people came into the crypto space. You think it's just all about money, you come putting money, your money go up here. And then if you ever want to take it a step further, you now do trading. So that is that. So that is how personally I came into the crypto space. It was years later that I now even discovered that the space is even bigger than that. It's called Web3, and then started learning, and here we are. So, what are cryptocurrencies? I'm going to first of all say, why was crypto created? In the normal world, am I audible, please? Let me even put on the flyer. Let me come.
Yes, sir. We're following you, sir.
All right. Okay. Let me share my screen. I almost forgot. So, in the normal world that we are, there are different types of currencies. The word crypto is just cryptocurrency, just words, crypto and currencies. So, in the actual sense of it, there are different. This is my gallery. Oh. So, there are different types of currencies.
I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing any.
Hello, I'm not hearing anything.
Showed on a bit. It's probably network.
My network rock though. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't even notice that I rocked. I was trying to share my screen, so let me go ahead and share it again. So as I was explaining, crypto is just currency, is a form of money used for exchange. Now, why was crypto created? If you read the Bitcoin white paper, that is where you understand primary reason for the creation of crypto. Can you see my screen?
It's not stable.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so I don't know why this thing is like this night. Is it clear now?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes.
All right. So crypto was created primarily to combat fiat currencies. One of the reasons is, as I explained when I started this class, I explained that Naira now, if government need more money, just like what happened during the time of the election, they can print money. The more part of what is causing inflation today is because of the large amount of we are using both our old notes and the new notes together. No control over the quantity. They keep printing and printing and printing. It's just paper. So this is part of what crypto was created to combat. That is why Bitcoin was created. And the maximum Bitcoin, the total or the maximum number of Bitcoins is 21 million. That is why if you notice, Bitcoin keeps increasing every year, even though Naira is losing value. Naira has been losing value year by year, year by year. But you see the price of Bitcoin, it keeps increasing by at least 40% at the end of every year. This is part of, aside from adoption, this is because the maximum supply is capped capped at 21 million. So that is one good thing about crypto, and this is part of why it was created, to combat the normal money that we use. Then another thing again is money is now controlled by banks, by central banks. So that is why crypto brought about, with the power of blockchain, crypto brought about decentralization. So this time around, it's not controlled by a single entity. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please, Mr. Adex, meet. Okay, because you're not, your background was. So with crypto, there is no centralization, unlike in normal fiat currency, whereby central banks and the likes, they do the control and everything. That is one. Another thing again is slow transactions. You remember you could send money on your bank account and it's not going because of network, this and that, especially when you are sending money across borders. Like you want to, time when I wanted to receive money from someone in US, after providing my account details and the likes, even though you could not send money directly from his US account, he has to go through some process to set up an account for me, blah blah blah, before he was able to send the money. Now, because of time difference, after sending, I had to wait for about 4 hours before receiving it. Slow transactions. These are part of the things crypto combat. With crypto, anybody, in any part of the world, you could send them money, make payments to them without needing them to be 18 years and above. You don't need any special documents. All the person needs is to open his phone, get a wallet address, fund it, and you're good to go with transactions. So that is basically that about that. And again, it's transparent. We cannot stress this transparency enough. The whole idea of the blockchain service is all about transparency. So that is why part of what crypto is, and that is why crypto was created. Now, cryptocurrency is also a digital money system that works on peer-to-peer. That is, you don't need middleman. Unlike a bank now, you don't need middleman. In fact, if there was to be a middleman in crypto, the middleman is blockchain, the blockchain itself. So in crypto, there is no middleman. You are not sending between Access Bank and Zenith Bank and all of those stuff. Crypto now works on, with the creation of Ethereum, most cryptocurrencies now use smart contracts, which is basically no emotions. If this is this, do this, and the likes. So I don't know. Have you guys been understanding so far? Am I still audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. All right, sir. So that is what cryptocurrencies are. I'm trying to check what we should be discussing next after knowing what cryptos are. Okay, the next thing is difference between tokens and coins. Okay. So in cryptocurrency, there are different types. There are ones that we call coins, and there are ones that we call tokens. I'm going to add my own also. There is now meme coin. It is not on the list, but I'm adding it as a third category so that I'm going to explain it. So you must have heard this a lot of the times. You hear coins, you hear tokens, and then you hear meme coins. They are all forms of cryptocurrencies, but they are not the same. When they say a crypto is a coin, it means it is native to their blockchain. Simple example, Bitcoin is a coin. Ethereum is a coin. BNB, which is Binance, is a coin. The reason why these three are coins is because they have their own blockchain. They have their own blockchain. Just as I was explaining earlier that when I use that example of indicated cheat is live, that you should go to the block explorer and then check transactions and the likes. So if anybody do any transaction today on Bitcoin blockchain, what you just need to do is to go to Bitcoin block explorer, and check the transaction. If it is on Binance, you go to BNB scan. I think that is the name, BSC scan or something like that. That is their block explorer name. you check. If it is Ethereum, that is why they are called coins, because Bitcoin blockchain has its native coin as Bitcoin. Ethereum has its native coin as Ether. BSC has its native coin as BNB. Now, unlike tokens do not have their own native blockchain. Tokens do not have blockchain. Example of a token is USDT. This USDT that you use to transact with every day, it does not have its native blockchain. That is why, let's say, for instance, you send me a DM today and you tell me you want to sell your USDT to me. The first thing I will ask you is USDT on which network? So you will now tell me whether it is USDT on ERC20, or it is on ERC20 is Ethereum network, or if it is on BSC20, which is Binance, or if it is on TRC20, which is on Tron network, or if it is on Ton blockchain. So USDT does not own blockchain. It borrows blockchain from these other blockchains that are created already. That is why it is called a token. So let's say, for instance, you send me that USDT now on ERC20 and anything goes wrong, maybe I do not receive the coins or the likes. By the time you give me the transaction hash, is it transaction hash that it is called? Yeah, it has, yeah. By the time you give me the transaction hash, which is what I can use to track the transaction, I'll go to Etherscan, which is Ethereum's network, and go and search for it. Because the USDT that you're sending to me is now on Ethereum network. USDT does not have its own blockchain. Now, if it is on BEP20, that is Binance that you send to me, I'll now have to go to BSC scan to go and check the USDT transaction. If it is on Tron blockchain, I'll now have to go to Tron scan. I don't know if it is called Tron scan, but yeah, the blockchain of Tron. This is because tokens do not have their own blockchain. Other example is USDC and others. So they do not have their own native blockchain, so they cannot be called a coin. They are called tokens. We now have meme coins. At the basic level of it, meme coins are also a type of tokens. If we are to even classify it properly, meme coins are a type of tokens because they also do not have their own blockchain. As long as it is not built on its own blockchain, it is a token. So meme coins, just that this time around, meme coins basically, as the name implies, meme. So they could create it out of a meme. We could create a meme coin for Gary. People will love to they take Gary where we're now. They will say, okay, oh, this is our own meme coin, Gary coin. People will like Kana. Kana has his own meme coin now. People will they love Mizi Igbo or the likes. And this Shalom meme coin that is about to be created by Vindicated Chidi that I was saying earlier, which is a token for the representation of peace, something like that. So that is just basically what that is all about. Before I proceed, am I still audible?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, just as I've said, the primary purpose for the creation of the cryptocurrencies is to battle fiat currencies. But then they also have a lot of functions and they are classified into different types. Example is we have utility tokens, we have governance tokens, we have stable coins, and then we now have NFTs. So I'm going to explain each of these. The first one is utility tokens. When we talk of utility tokens, it basically means that it could be utility token or utility coin. So it basically means that that crypto gives you access to a particular product or service blockchain or other blockchains. That is why it's part of the ways of knowing, for those of us that do airdrops everywhere, part of the ways of knowing an airdrop that is going to stay for the long term is their utility. When they ask you what is the utility of this coin, that is how to know it. For instance, if I ask you what is the utility of anybody, tell me what is the utility of Bitcoin. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Samudrik, what is the utility of Bitcoin?
Yes, you're audible.
Sir?
What do you say?
You okay, my network ceased for a moment. I'm asking, what is the utility of Bitcoin? Am I audible or is network? Let me know.
The utility of Bitcoin, you can use it, you can invest it, use for investment. You can, what again? You can use it, you can bridge it to another coin. That's what I understand.
Okay, okay. Mr. Adex, please, what is the utility of Bitcoin? Are you there, Mr. Adex?
With you, sir.
What is the utility of Bitcoin? The quietness. It's not as if that means you guys are not really paying attention to what I've been explaining so far because I have mentioned it time without number. In fact, in the first class, I mentioned it. In the second class, I mentioned it. And in this class, I also talked about it. So when they say utility, utility simply means the use case. As you can see on my screen here, utility means use case of that coin. What is it used for? For instance, if I ask you, what is Naira used for? Naira is just money, a form of exchange used for making payments for something. So that is the utility of Naira. So if you ask you, what is the utility of Bitcoin? Bitcoin was created specifically as a medium of exchange and then to combat Naira, like I was explaining, to combat the normal fiat currency, like I was explaining, the maximum Bitcoin has a maximum supply that is 21 million Bitcoin. Only 21 million Bitcoin will ever exist till this world end. It will never be 22. So that is the primary purpose of the creation of Bitcoin. If I now ask you, what is the utility of Ethereum? The utility of Ethereum is smart contracts. You go and check, why was this coin created? What was it created for? Utility of Ethereum. Ethereum is brought about as smart contracts. Its first utility. Aside from that, it can also do what Bitcoin does. So if you notice now, each coin that is being created now, they are doing things that they are formal, like Bitcoin that I said was created. You can use it as a form of exchange, make payments and the like. Same thing with Ethereum. But Ethereum now took it a step further, making their main utility to be smart contract. Same thing with BNB now. BNB also, BNB's utility now is their exchange. You can see their exchange, which is Binance. You go to Binance, if you are making transactions in BNB, I think if you are sending BNB from Binance, it's free. So that is, so each of, when they say utility, the primary use case of that coin, even though it is primarily used as a form of exchange, you can use to make payments for anything you want. It is primary use case of it. But Bitcoin is the one that has that primary function because it is the first crypto. I'm even going to advise you, if you have time, read a Bitcoin white paper. Your mind is going to blow up. So that is that about that. So when they say utility, they are basically talking about the use case of that coin. Why was it created? What is it created for? Just like Pi Network, I'm sure all of you participated on Pi Network. Pi currently, if they ask you anyway, Pi currently does not currently have a utility. They don't have a utility now, and that is what is killing them. But then the primary function of Pi Network was Pi was trying to create an ecosystem whereby inside Pi's ecosystem, different marketplaces going to exist. maybe there might be an application like Jumia on Pi Network that enables where people sell phones, but what you used to make payments for is your Pi Network. There might be like what they even created recently, this .pi domain and the likes, but they can create something like that whereby developers that want to buy domains, they could go there, purchase domains using Pi. So that was supposed to be the primary utility of PiCoins, but up to now, they've still not been able to successfully do all of those. They are still working on it. So when they ask you utility, it simply means the use case, what it is being used for. Like Notecoin now, if you notice, the wave on Notecoin has cleared now. Bitcoin has been alive for years, but I'll say simply because it's the first crypto anyway. Now, Notecoin that we mined last year, Notecoin is a meme coin anyway, but then the utility, let me say the utility of Notecoin is just for marketing. Because if you notice, there is nothing you're using Notecoin for. It does not have its own blockchain, it's on Ton blockchain. There is nothing it is being used for. But its utility as at the time it was created was Notecoin. And why? Its utility as at the time it was created was for advertising. That is why it is because of Notecoin that a lot of people flooded to Web3 last year through Telegram. So that was the utility of Notecoin. Because of Notecoin, a lot of people came to Telegram, people started using Telegram, people started using Ton and the like. Same thing with Dogs, airdrops, and the others. So that is part of the ways of selecting a good airdrop also. If you check any airdrop, for instance, those of you that are on my group were participating on a lot of airdrops. If I drop any updates, go and check what the developers of these coins, what did they create it for? So when you check the technology behind it, you get to understand if they are here to stay for the long term or not. For instance, Humanity Protocol. Those of us that participated in Humanity Protocol early this year, a lot of us, even I was not qualified. But Humanity Protocol, their utility is Web3 security. That is as a form of verification. That is why, as you participated, my screen come off now. So that is why when you participated, they told you to do palm verification, whereby you put your palm on your screen as a form of KYC. That's their utility. So any other application in the Web3 space can also utilize them. I can create an application now, and then I install Humanity Protocol on my site as a form of KYC. So anybody that wants to access that my site now might need to do their palm verification before it works. So that is the utility of Humanity Protocol. So when you want to check, that is why Humanity Protocol, even though their airdrop was trash, but they are still here for the longest because people are going to use what they built. So whenever you are, even this thing, Bondex got listed early this year. I was eligible for the airdrop, but it was dust as usual upon all the allocation. Everything was dust. So I'm sure even none of you here got Bondex. But then Bondex is acting as this thing for those of you that do look for jobs, these online jobs. That is what Bondex is doing. I've forgotten this platform. Okay, let me say it's acting like Fiverr. So on Bondex, that's why if you notice they tell you to submit your CV. So you could hunt for jobs there. If you're a developer, if you're a graphic designer, different things, you could hunt for jobs there, get it. And then the person that hired you will pay you in Bondex token. So Bondex is acting as Fiverr for Web3. So whenever you are checking for, that is why even though Bondex did nonsense, but then Bondex is still here to stay because of that their utility. And from next year, I'm not expecting something good start coming from Bondex. So when you are selecting airdrops, one of the things you should look at is the utility. But utility does not mean that the coin is going to list very high. So don't get it wrong. For instance, you can even see Bondex. What was the listing price of Bondex? Was it not dust? And even though, what did the community get? So it does not mean, but it means that at least they'll be here for the longest. Am I still audible, please?
Yes,
Yes,
All right. So whenever we talk of crypto, part of it is utility. You have to look out for utility when selecting cryptos. Another thing is governance. So there are tokens that are specifically for governance. Governance means they allow you, like when you hold those tokens now, you are allowed some special privileges. Maybe you could be allowed to vote on protocols changes and the like. Example are Uni and Aave. For instance, Aave coin. Aave is this platform. We'll still get there, where we'll talk about lending and borrowing on Web3. So some tokens that you hold, they are called governance tokens. Those tokens, they are primarily utilities just for you to be able to vote in their protocols. Maybe they want to make decisions on this, on that. If you hold out their coins, you'll be able to vote. And some of them, like when I was talking about mining, if you hold some specific amount of coins, you'll be able to stake coins and then participate as a node validator. That was when I was explaining what blockchain is all about. So that is basically that about that. In crypto, we also have stable coins. We have special coins called stable coins. Example is USDT. You know it already. Another one is USDC. So when they talk of stable coins, it is just those, like we even have CNGN now. I don't know if you've heard of CNGN. I've talked about it several times in my group. Just as we have USDT that is pegged to the US dollars and also USDC that is pegged to the US dollars. That is how we have CNGN that is now currently being pegged to the Nigerian Naira. This one is not e-Naira. E-Naira is a field project. So stable coins, these are coins that are pegged to normal fiat currency, and their primary utility on the blockchain is stability. For instance, crypto price is never stable. Crypto market is highly volatile. That is why you hear that Bitcoin is $117,000 today. In the next 5 minutes, it has gone to $116,000. In the next minute again, it has gone up. So the crypto market is never ever stable. In fact, there are some that you cannot even observe. Even like as at now, Bitcoin should be somewhere around $116,000. But it is not actually at that price. If you check the map very well, you see that it is changing. Maybe like there are some that you, how will I explain it to? Okay, let me use a small coin for instance. Let's say XRP. XRP is currently somewhere around $2. That $2 is not the actual price. Oh. It could be 2.01 something, something, something. Now, if you look at it down, it is always changing. It could be 0.12, 0.13, 0.14. A good example. Okay, let me see if I can share my whole screen and then I'll do an example of it on. Let's view so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm still audible, right?
Yes, yes,
Am I still audible?
yeah.
All right. I want to share my entire screen right now. Can you see what is on my screen?
No, it's not
No.
showing anything.
Okay, I think it's displaying. I don't know what is wrong with network this night though. What is wrong with network? Okay. It's not going through. So maybe let me try and share again. I'm going to be using BitGet as an example for this video. We still have a long way to go. We've not discussed about wallets yet. I don't know what is wrong with this. Okay, maybe I'm trying to share and it's just not going through. Is my screen displaying now?
No.
Okay. Maybe it's my phone. Next class I'm going to switch phone and use another one. Let's see. So but basically if you go into your exchange right now, like BitGet, go to your sports section, any coin at all. If you check the chart, you see that it is always changing to blue. It is always changing to green and red. That is to show that the market is volatile. It is always going up, always coming down. But when it comes to stable coins, these ones, they are stable. So like for instance, recently Naira even lost value. Naira was trading at somewhere around I think 1.550, but about some days ago it has reduced. So, but it did not just reduce overnight. It took time, and it's because of economic situation. Like it is what happens with day-to-day activities normal that affect those ones. So we could call them. I personally call them the fiat currencies on blockchain because it just functions as the normal money, and it is very useful. Let's say you invested in a coin now and your coin goes up. For those of you that were in my group, I told you to purchase CRO. I've always been hammering on it. That time and CRO pumped. So let's say, for instance, that time that CRO pumped now, you could convert your CRO immediately to USDT because CRO is volatile. In the next 5 minutes, it will crash, it will dump. So you convert, which is a stable coin. You now wait for CRO to dump. Once it dumps, you could now buy the CRO again. And that way, you've saved yourself. You've kept the value of your money. So these are part of the uses of USDC part of uses of stable coins on the blockchain. So that is basically that about that. I think that explanation should be clear. Another thing is we now have NFTs. We have NFTs. Yeah. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. Unlike crypto is fungible. Crypto is fungible. Where they say non-fungible tokens, it means something that cannot be divided into little pieces. But before we explain that, the whole idea of Web3, when I was explaining to you Web2, I told you that Web2 is not just about internet. I think Web2 it also extends to our daily lives, our daily activities, how we live our lives on a day-to-day basis. That is why I now gave example of bank, the way our government operates, the way organizations operate, and the likes. I told you that is how Web2 is. Now, that is what Web3 is also imitating. When I was explaining Web2, there's something I didn't add, but you should understand it when I say it imitates our day-to-day life, including including the music industry, the video industry, the gaming industry, everything at all. That is what Web3 is also trying to do. So that is why we now have the NFTs were now introduced. So when we talk of NFTs now, just as we have land, there are different types of NFTs, by the way. NFTs are categorized into different categories, which we'll not be talking about here. But then, lands, for instance, you could tokenize your land as an asset on the blockchain. It will be an NFT. And unlike crypto, unlike when they say non-fungible, unlike Bitcoin now, one Bitcoin equals to one Bitcoin. One Bitcoin could be divided into two. It could be divided into several parts. I could decide to send you 0.5 Bitcoin, 0.4 this. But when it comes to NFTs, you cannot send 0.5 NFT. Once an NFTs are arts on the blockchain, artwork work. Once they are created, they are created. The reason why you cannot divide them is because they have unique ID. Unlike your land now, the example I was giving of land. If you have a plot of land right now, you have certificates to that plot of land. That plot of land cannot be divided into two. Why? Because the unique ID of that plot of land now is the certificate. So if you want to sell that plot, of land, you have to sell exactly the plot of land to whoever wants to buy it. But let's say, imagine a case where you now divided this plot of land now into half, 0.5, 0.5, which means automatically the certificates, the documents that you have for that land is no longer valid. You now have to look for a way to get 2 new certificates for the land because you divided them into 2. So that is how NFTs are. NFTs has unique ID on the blockchain. Once they are created, they have their unique ID. You cannot divide them because dividing it will mean you want to do alterations to the ID, which you cannot even do. Like I've said, once anything is put on the blockchain, you cannot edit. You only add. So in terms of reward, it's even possible that you can divide your land into 2 and maybe you find your way and get certificates for them. But when it comes to NFTs, you can't do such because it's on the blockchain. I could decide that I want to put let's say for instance, I love my grandma so much. And then I always want to remember her and the likes. Now, I now have her picture. This is her picture now. I'm now looking at. In the next 10 years, rats fit don chop. Rats fit chop this picture. Water fit pour for am, different things. I could decide to pick that her picture now and put it on the blockchain as an NFT. So it will now become my family property. So even in my 5th generation, it will still be on the blockchain. My family can look at it and be like, oh, at so time, oh, this our great grandfather. Maybe by then I will have been long gone. So this is our great grandfather. Look at his grandmother on the blockchain, this and that. So you could tokenize those things on the blockchain. You could also put musicians could also put their music on the blockchain. The primary way they are putting their music right now on Audio Mac, Spotify, and the likes that people are getting to it. Those are Web2 platforms. So with the help of NFTs, they could also put their songs on the blockchain. They could, but unlike crypto that has value because you put money, the NFTs get value from maybe the person. For instance, if Davido now says he wants to make an NFT, he could decide that he wants to turn his clothes into an NFT. Because Davido has value, he has a high net worth. Because of that, now people are probably going to rush because he might buy a cloth now worth, let's say, 500k. He now decided to turn that cloth now to an NFT on the blockchain. People go buy them maybe for 1 million or even more than that. Why? Because it is him. It is him. He's the one that is giving it value because of him. For someone like me now, if I do it now, maybe nobody will even want to answer. Or maybe some of my community members that will probably want to say, okay, these things won't work as high as that. So in terms of comparison, there are different things that gives NFT value. The first value is the person. And then another value is transfer history. For instance, after the video makes that NFT on the blockchain now, and they sell it for 1 million to the first person that gets it. The second person is going to be buying it higher than that because he's getting it from the video. Now, the third person will also be buying it higher than, let's say the second person now that bought it was for $10. The other person that's going to buy it now will be like, this thing, the video don't hold on before. The $10 don't hold on, and now it is now my turn. So with that, it will be increasing the price. So it will be increasing the price. Now, another thing that gives NFT value is the use case. Like I've said, Web3 is trying to imitate the real world. So if I want to, let's say for instance, I want to host a birthday party now, or I want to do an anniversary in my house, my community members to come. In normal world, people do tickets, whereby you buy tickets for social amount, and then when you come, you present tickets and the likes. I could decide that my own ticket now, I could make an NFT, Tonyo's Tech NFT, and then I put in my image there. So it is that NFT that is going to show that you are from my community. If you come to that party without that NFT, you will not be granted access. Now, if we step it a bit higher, projects, blockchains like Sui do host several programs in different parts of the countries yearly. So they could decide to make an NFT now. Or even the video, like the example I was giving, you could decide to make his music concert. Now you want to do a music concert, and you say that instead of buying tickets, you purchased, he creates NFTs, and these NFTs are limited, 500. So the first people to get it, you get access to come to his show. And then the NFT, if you get, let's say for instance, you get my NFT, now it could be that if I'm hosting party 500 parties, as long as you have that my NFT, you have access to it. So these are some of the use cases of NFTs. People make money from it. There's in a way called NFT flipping, where you get to do that and the like. So that is basically that about that. There are a whole lot of there are a whole lot of things on NFTs, but then that is basically it. Another form of NFTs are also in terms of gaming. Does any of you play Call of Duty here? Okay, I'm guessing no one. So, but I play Call of Duty, by the way. I play Call of Duty, I play Free Fire, and I play some of these games. And then some of these days, I'm trying to explore Web3 games. There are some Web3 games that pay now. So, maybe when I get access to them, I'm going to be dropping details on them or making videos on it. Now, if you're someone that plays game or you play this, even though you'll have seen these guys that play it on TikTok, they purchase different things in this game. They could buy clothes. They could buy clothes. Anyhow, at least you must have one way or the other played Subway Surf. So you remember when you were playing Subway Surf, as you're playing the game, you are accumulating coins. Those coins now use it to buy clothes for your character, or use it to buy a faster character, or use it to buy a character that has special abilities. So as you're buying, like in Call of Duty, you could also buy gun, you could buy different types of things. Now they now took it a step higher. I don't know if Subway Surf you need to deposit money or anything, but in Call of Duty, you could deposit your money before you can purchase some of these things. But the problem is that when you have purchased these skins, you purchase these guns now, what is the use of it? It just ends in the game. You play it. If they ban your account now or your account is gone, that is the end. That's so for something like that, we now have gaming in Web3 where NFTs are now useful. So if a game like Call of Duty was to be on the Web3 space now, whenever you purchase those guns or you purchase those skins, that is the clothes or the characters, they'll be converted into an NFT. And the amount used in purchasing them, they will still hold that value. So instead of it to just die out like that, you could decide to transfer it, to sell it to people. Maybe someone else that is playing the same game and wants that your character, you could decide to sell it to the person and transfer it to the person. So on Web3, your game pass, your skins, your guns, all of those things, they are all converted into NFTs, and they are stored on the blockchain. So there are a whole lot of ways you could use you could use NFTs, and a whole lot of ways you could make money from it. And that now brings us to the last part of today's class, which is wallets. Yes, wallets and storing of digital assets. See, I don't know. This is where the practical is supposed to come in. I don't know. This sharing of screen just they get issues, but then I wanted to just share screen and show some examples. But I'm sure all of you here, you know MetaMask, right? You know MetaMask, you know Trust Wallet, you know Phantom Wallet.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So when we talk of wallets in Web3, wallets are divided into two. Basically, two basic types. There are two basic type of wallets. Exchange is not wallet though. A lot of people do mistake this most of the times. Bybit is not a wallet. Bybit is an exchange. Binance is not a wallet. Binance is an exchange. Bitget is an exchange. OKX is an exchange. Now, liking these exchanges to bank accounts like your Zenith Bank, yeah. So you could liken it to it. These are exchanges. Binance is not a Web2 platform. Sorry, it's not a Web3 platform, or it's an exchange, and it's a Web2 platform, even though it deals with crypto. So the fact that something deals with crypto does not mean it is Web3. And the reason for that is because when you want to sign up on Binance, you have to do KYC with them. You provided them your name, maybe your ID, email address, and the likes. Web3 platforms don't need those details. So Binance, Bybit, OKX, and all of these exchanges, they are not Web3 platforms and they are not Web3 wallets. But here is the catch. They also have Web3 wallets. That is what I wanted to even show you using OKX. If you go into your OKX right now, OKX is banned. Nigerians cannot use OKX exchange, but you can use OKX Web3 wallet. If you go into your Binance right now also, if you look at the top of your screen, you notice there are two sections. Exchange, which is the default thing that you enter, what you registered on. Exchange and wallet. So that wallet section now, they function like Bybit. They function like MetaMask. Sorry, they function like Trust Wallet. They function like MetaMask. They function like Phantom. So how to know, the first step to know a Web3 wallet is when you want to sign up on it, they will ask you, they will give you a seed phrase, a secret recovery phrase, and the likes. So these exchanges, like I've said, they are not wallets, but they also have their wallet part. Like BitGet now, BitGet has a separate application on Play Store that is called BitGet Wallet, aside from the exchange. So wallets are divided basically into two types. We have the hot wallet, and then we have the cold wallet. All of these examples that I've been giving you so far are examples of hot wallets. And the reason why they are hot wallets is because they are online. Yes, they are online. You could easily get it from your Play Store or your App Store. OKX is a hot OKX Web3 wallet is a hot wallet. Trust wallet is a hot wallet. So when you sign up on this wallet, you get a secret a seed phrase. So this is how hot wallets are. Now we now have cold wallets. Cold wallets now also have a recovery phrase, but this time around they are not online. Cold wallet does not deal with the internet. It does not require internet connectivity to function. Cold wallets can come in form of USB. A good example of cold wallet is Ledger. If you're with your phone right now, you could just go to Google and type Ledger wallet. So you see them. They come in different forms. Some might look like a phone, some might be like a USB, and just different types. So those are cold wallets. Now, anything hot wallet can do, cold wallet can also do. They have the same function. The only difference is that hot wallet now needs internet. Cold wallet does not. Cold wallet is not rely on the internet. And currently, cold wallet is the most secure form of storing your crypto. That is why you notice that there's been recent complaints of hacks. Person go say they hack my trust wallet, they do this, they did that, and that, and that, and that. Which is not possible, by the way. Now that I even remember, let me explain it again. It is not possible for Trust Wallet to be hacked, and here is why. I don't know if you guys have seen. I've made several videos on that. All these things that I've been explaining so far, say crypto this, crypto that. Please, Mr. Adex, mute your mic.
Okay.
So your crypto, unlike banks now, crypto, one thing you need to know is that crypto does not live inside your wallet. So a good example, I don't know if you have funds on your Trust Wallet right now, or you have funds on your MetaMask, and you're seeing, if you go into this, you see that funds that you are seeing there, it is not inside MetaMask, it is not also inside Trust Wallet. Crypto does not live inside your wallet. Where it lives is on the blockchain. So what you are just seeing on your Trust Wallet now is just the value. And the reason why you're seeing that value is because you have your private key. So here is a good example. If you have funds on your Trust Wallet now, let's say you have Ethereum. If you pick that your seed phrase, which is your 12-digit phrase now, and you import it to your MetaMask, you are still going to see your Ethereum. So does it now mean that your coins was transferred from Trust Wallet into MetaMask? No, it does not work like that. The reason is because your funds was never on Trust Wallet. It has always been on the blockchain. So the only thing is, for instance, I said Bitcoin has maximum of 21 million. That 21 million now just be sit down somewhere on the blockchain. Do you understand? Now, whenever you are creating a wallet, on this wallet, whenever you're creating a wallet, that seed phrase, three things are happening. The first one is you get a seed phrase. The second thing is you will get a private key. And then the third thing, you get a public address. So whenever your seed phrase is created, that private key now is where your crypto is being assigned to. It is just like an ID. Let's say, for instance, I want to buy land from you. The land might be in Lagos. Me and you go to Lagos, we see the land and everything. If I want to show, if I come to Abuja now, I want to show somebody that I have that this land belongs to me. Is it to go to Lagos and go and show the person? No. All I need to do is to show the person the document. So see the documents, and get that land with it. So in terms of crypto now, your private key is acting as a document. Meanwhile, your crypto is simply sitting on the blockchain, just as the land is still in Lagos. You know they move anywhere. So you just show the person your document that okay, now me get them. So anything will make that your document leave your hand, person thief your document now, automatically now that person get the land. So if somebody has access to your private key, automatically all your funds is gone and there is nobody that can save you. Even Trust Wallet said it. And people, a lot of newbies do mistake this thing. Whenever you create a private key, Trust Wallet does not have access to your private key. Your private key is generated locally on your phone storage, not online. It is generated locally on your phone storage. So whenever your seed phrase is generated, a private key is generated and assigned to that seed phrase, and a public key. That public key now is just your wallet address, one you send to me. So keep your seed phrase very secure. How these hackers, those people that complain that they woke up and their trust wallet got hacked, they never shared their seed phrase and this. The ways it happens is because these hackers are getting smarter every day. You could click a phishing site without knowing. These phishing links now could gather information from your phone. And when I was explaining, I say your seed phrase that Trust Wallet generated for you, it is generated locally on your phone storage. So it is still inside your phone storage right now. So any phishing link with a program where now can go into that your phone storage and pick the seed phrase. That is one way. Another thing again is some of the recording apps you use. You might download recording apps from like Android now. You know, all apps you use is not from Play Store. Some apps you could download from Google. So you could download some apps now that have access to, record your keyboard as you're typing for those of you that like copying your seed phrase. So you could record it and then send to the scammer. So these are part of the ways that these things happen. So there are a whole lot of some other things to it, but then that is the basic things to it. So the way you store your crypto is you store your crypto on a wallet. Any wallet you choose to use at all, a seed phrase is going to be generated for you. A private key is also going to be generated that is pegged to that seed phrase, and then a public key, which is your wallet address. And currently, if you send anybody your private key, they have access to your coin. But if you send anybody your public key, they don't have access to your coin. The public key is generated from the private key through some mathematical equations that humans cannot solve currently to engineer it. So if I want to, let's say for instance, if it is possible to hack your wallet through your public key. If you send me your wallet address right now, it is possible to get your seed phrase through it. It is possible, not that help of this thing, through the help of quantum computing. Quantum computing is not yet, it's still what they are still working on. So it's not something that is finished yet. But as at that time, if quantum computing they eventually work it out, then through engineering, they can get your private key and your public and your seed phrase to that. But as of now, it is not possible, and as of now, we are still secure. So this one just for you to keep it at the back of your head that something like this could happen one day. So that is basically that. There are two types of wallets, hot wallet and cold wallet. Hot wallets are the ones that are online, that you interact with every day. Cold wallets are the ones that you purchase. You buy from the market. They come in form of USB. Some can be in form of phone, and they never touch the internet. So when you buy them, you also get a seed phrase. You get a public key. Some people even want to ask, what if that wallet that you buy, like USB now? USB do get corrupted sometimes. it could get spoiled and the like. So if something like that was to happen to your cold wallet, you just need to pick the seed phrase of that wallet and import it into an online wallet, and all your coin is going to show. So that is basically all there is to it on today's class. I've been speaking and speaking so far. I don't know if there is any questions, so we'll attempt to questions and see how we call it a wrap. Any questions? Esther, do you have a question?
No.
Tehila, questions?
No, I don't.
All right. There was someone that came to meet me separately. I don't know what is wrong with my network. There's someone that came to meet me the other time that he wants to join the class. Although I told him we started this class already. But he said, no, 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 you have to join. So I had to do some separate explanations for him and then added him. And today he's still not here. But then that is that about that. This class is recorded. The recording, I'm still going to upload it and then I'll drop the link in case anybody wants to go through a recap of it. And for those of you that have not gone through the last class, make sure you do so. It is very vital. The last two classes, those are the most important part of this class. In fact, if you understand those two perfectly, you're good to go with any other thing on Web3. You won't have issues understanding any other thing that is going on. So officially, the business has become serious. We have entered into the more technical aspect of it. The next class, I'll try to see maybe I will switch to my laptop or I'll use another phone. Let's see how we can do more of practicals. So that is basically that about that. Thank you for coming and make sure to be early. Today we have to wait for 10 minutes. Next time I don't wait to. This one self is on because the after this first class now, the next one I'll be holding for those new users. I will disqualify people. Once you miss like two classes, you are out because I don't like when you are not taking something serious. I don't like it at all. So that is basically that about that. We'll call it a wrap on here and see you next Friday. Sorry, see you this Friday. This Friday is our next class. So take care and GM once again. So you'll be a nice good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.